autism, you know, and what people knew about it still was we're still learning today.
I was told that my two boys were the only two in Hillingdon that had autism.
Autism doesn't come with a book or manual. Every autistic is the same.
No one sat me down and said, this is what autism is.
I think with somebody who's autistic and they have a determination and a passion, they don't stop until they see it through.
And we focus on the positives because we know about the negatives.
And I think that's the beautiful thing about Anna Kennedy Online. Like, we've all been on this amazing journey and we've watched each other grow and develop.
That's what possibly our autistic performers feel like when they dance. They can just be them.
I won't ever forget everyone just standing up and cheering and screaming. That moment will stay with me forever.
People talked about it for like weeks and weeks, saying, hey, when are you going to do it again?
There's no other charity or autism charity that is promoting and, you know, the inclusion, the acceptance, championing autism the way that Anna Kennedy Online does.
Hello and welcome to the Social Care Chronicles, the podcast where we talk to people who are reshaping lives right across the health and social care sector. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by two remarkable guests. First of all, Anna Kennedy OBE, founder of the charity Anna Kennedy Online, is one of the UK's most influential voices and for autism awareness. She's a mother, campaigner and advocate whose work has transformed education, community inclusion and opportunities for autistic people for more than 25 years. And joining her is Mr. Kieron Lee, Birmingham-based musician, producer and proud Anna Kennedy Online ambassador, using his music and lived experience to champion creativity and inclusion for autistic people. Together, we're going to explore Anna's journey and the work of her charity and how creative platforms like Autism Got Talent are giving people the confidence to shine. Anna, Kieron, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
It's lovely to be here.
So, Anna, for anyone who doesn't know you and your story, can you take us back to the beginning? Where did your journey with autism start and how did it begin?
My journey started many years ago in the late 90s when autism wasn't that recognised. So I had two sons on the autism spectrum. They're now 35 and 32. Patrick's 35. He was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome at the age of 4, but it was kept from me. He didn't find out until he was 7.
Wow.
Angelo was diagnosed quite early on, 2.5, 3. So he was diagnosed first, if you like, because I knew of the diagnosis.
Right.
But he was following all the milestones after I had two very difficult pregnancies. I had preeclampsia and toxemia for both pregnancies. So I had Patrick very, very early, 11 weeks premature. He was only 2 pounds when he was born. He was even given the last rites. Wow. And then when he had a blood transfusion, that's when his turning point was. So he really, it was quite stressful, as you can imagine, for a first baby. Seeing your son, you know, linked up to all these equipment and whatever. And then Angelo, because I had preeclampsia and toxemia and I was so ill with Patrick, that's why they kept me in hospital for so many weeks, which was driving me mad, as you can imagine. So I had two boys, and when Patrick started school, he was finding it very, very difficult. He hated it. He used to grab hold of the steering wheel when I was driving. I had a few bumps in the car. Don't take me to that place. You know, there's a big mouth in the school that swallows me up. Right. There's eyes on the doors that are looking at me. And afterwards, I discovered that the eyes were the word classroom, the 2 O's. So that was what the eyes were. And then the mouth was the hall door as he was going in, because he didn't like going into the hall. Okay. He didn't like doing PE in the hall because he had to take his shoes and socks off. At that time, I didn't know he had sensory issues. Gotcha. When they were in assembly, the scrapings of the chairs, the clapping, all those sort of things. Obviously, I didn't know that then, but I do now because he's able to explain it to me. He was finding it difficult to make friends. He was being bullied. He'd come home and say, what does cuckoo brain mean, mummy? And all those sort of things. He was really interested in the dictionary and the thesaurus. So obviously, for a child of his age, that would be seen as a little bit odd. He was interested in things like Thomas the Tank Engine, which is quite common at that time for children on the spectrum. So Angelo, He passed all the milestones. He was doing really, really well. And then he lost everything. It was almost like someone came and took everything away from Angelo. The speech, eye contact, didn't want to be touched, fixated with patterns on the wallpaper, constantly screaming, running from one end of the bedroom to the other. It was just so difficult. And it was just like, I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? And then obviously I realized afterwards that I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was just doing the best that I possibly could. But then Angelo was diagnosed with autism, but then no one said, I was given a nice little report with lots of information on there, but no one sat me down and said, this is what autism is. This is the best approach to use for your child. And when I did research, there was about 17 or 18 approaches at that time. And I thought, which one do I use for my son? How do I know which is going to be the best approach for Angelo? So both boys were going to a Catholic school. So Patrick was going, he was really, really struggling. He had one-to-one support. I spent many time in the corridor with him, with Angelo in the buggy. He'd wrap his legs around the buggy. Get me out of here. I don't want to be in this place. So in the end, they said that they couldn't meet Angelo's needs. So I had 2 boys at home just receiving 5 hours home tuition. So I was very frustrated because all the books I was reading was about early intervention is crucial for children on the autism spectrum. And I thought, well, where is it? Oh, I can't find any. So then I bumped into another parent and she was having difficulty. So we decided that we can't be the only parents because we didn't know of any parent group that was going at that time. We heard that there was one going, but it had shut. So there was nothing. So I basically wrote into the Uxbridge Gazette and I met a lovely lady who was a reporter there, Barbara Fisher, and I'm still friends with her now all these years down the line. And I said, can you put an article in the newspaper for me to see if there are any other parents that have got children on the spectrum? Because at that time as well, the SEN support worker that was looking after my case, I was told that my 2 boys were the only 2 in Hillingdon that had autism, which made me feel really isolated.
Surely.
Yeah, so then I met obviously this other parent, and then we put it out there and 275 families came out of the woodwork. Children, adults, adults that were in mental health unit, you name it, all these various different stories. So we booked a room at the church hall and they gave us it for nothing. So we were having meetings during the day for parents that could get there, then meetings in the evening. So it sort of grew from there, and so many kids were out of school. They just didn't have a place to go to. So somebody told me about a school that was disused and they were going to knock it down and build 37 flats. It was actually round the corner from where I lived. And I didn't even know it was there because it was all overgrown. It had been empty for like 3 years and you'd have to sort of go down this pathway to find this school. So I went along and I remember climbing over the fence, looking through the windows, smash sinks, you name it. So I said, I wonder if we could open a school. And the people, when I spoke to them at the group, they thought I was mad. You know, you're running before you can walk. You know, you just set up this support group. I said, well, I can't live the way I'm living because my husband's going to work. He's coming back. Then I'm going to work at night time at a doctor's answering service. So I'm teaching Keep Fit. And then I come back home like at 1 o'clock. I'm up all night with my boys. I thought, I can't live like this anymore. There must be better lifestyle than this. So anyway, to cut a long story short, we did get the school in the end, but we had to be put through so many hoops, write a business plan, you know, where we're going to get the funding from, where you're going to get the resources from, how are you going to advertise for a head teacher, all these things that I didn't even know. So again, I was doing research. So we managed to do it and we opened the school with 19 children walking through the door, and my 2 were the last 2 to be funded 2 weeks before we opened the school. We had people like British Airways support us, British Airport Authority, McDonald's, the Navy came in. I was just asking anybody, please, can you come and help me? And I was trailing my 2 boys with me everywhere I went. So anyway, we managed to open it. And then after a month, the inspector was coming. And at that time, in the 90s, he could actually close the school down at that time. And I was vomiting in the toilet the night before, thinking, what if we've done all this? And he says, it's not right. So anyway, I remember his name was David. And at the end of the meeting, he called me in and he said, if I had a child with autism, I wouldn't hesitate and send them to this school. So I jumped on him and gave him a kiss. Not that you're supposed to do that to an inspector. But hey, I did. So then it just grew and grew, and 18, 19 local authorities came on board. Staffing was hard to recruit for because sometimes you get a fantastic CV and then you realise they're not really what it says on the CV. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we did it. So I did it for quite a number of years. We opened a vocational centre as well, West London Community College, which is no longer around, because I thought children growing to be adults, they need to, I was thinking of Angelo, where's he going to go? So we had the vocational centre, and then we opened a residential home for 8 adults as well.
Wow.
Esther Ranson became our patron. Love Esther. She's still a good friend of mine. Obviously, sadly, she's not very well. So then parents started writing to me about difficulty trying to get a diagnosis, trying to find the right school, what happens at transition, where does my son go, how does he get to college, what support needs to be put in place. I thought I need to set up something. So I decided I've done what I've done now with the school and everything, and the college and the residential centre. So I decided I wanted to open Anna Kennedy Online to support parents so they didn't feel as isolated as I did.
Sure.
Because I came from Middlesbrough, if you can imagine. I didn't know anybody.
Right.
I just felt really isolated myself. So I just didn't want them to feel the same way. So it started off just as an information website. And then I started speaking to people and it started developing into something else. But I wanted it to be volunteer-led because I wanted people to come on board because they wanted to do it for the right reason.
Sure.
I wanted them to be passionate, driven carers, autistic ambassadors, autistic champions, nanas, granddads we had. It was just became this family, and it still is. It's growing, but I don't want it to become a huge organisation.
Sure.
That's not what I want. I want it to still have the same values as when I first opened it. So it is growing, but there's a lot to Anna Kennedy Online. It's a small charity and we focus on the positives because we know about the negatives.
Yeah. And I think what struck me is that you are involved in so many different aspects within sort of the autistic community. But what looking back when you were going through all of this and you were setting up the school and then suddenly you were moving into autistic support environments and residential, at what point did you think, actually, this is working now, and the struggle that you put in to get that school moving, to get those residential places set up, what did you think? When did you really think, actually, what I'm doing is having a real impact here?
I actually never ever thought about, people ask me that all the time about, are you having a real impact? I don't think like that. It's just like I go from day to day.
Yeah.
And if I've done the best that I possibly can and I've put my hand on my heart and I think, yes, I've done that, that's what it's about. It's about families not feeling isolated like I did, getting the best education that they deserve. They're not second-class citizens, as I keep saying. I do worry about the families at the moment with everything that's going on with the cuts, and it's just a nightmare. Parents waiting so long for diagnosis. What I try and do is I don't want them to feel isolated. They come to us, they want support. We support them the best we can. If we can't help them, we try and point them in the right direction, and that's all that we possibly can do.
Sure. And Kieron, tell us a bit about your story, sort of when you were diagnosed and how that what that journey was like for you, because you're a brand ambassador and I'm sure you can speak from the heart from what your experience has been.
So I was diagnosed at a very young age. I think it was around 3. Very young age. My mum just knew there wasn't something right with me. She'll say not right with me. She, like Anna said, it wasn't understood then. So I think that's why I'm such a big champion of what Anna does, because I'm 99. Autism, and what people knew about it still was we're still learning today about new changes, and we're learning new things. So I was diagnosed from the age of 3, so I was pretty young. My mum wasn't very sure about how she wanted to go about, getting a diagnosis, and then I've been medicated for a long time as well, which I know some parents are against. For me, I'm 100% now, hand on heart, like I need that, because without that, I have ADHD as well. I suffer with a mixed anxiety and depressive disorder, so I kind of get it. But also get, that's what I need and it works for me. Do you know when somebody's watching an old TV programme, say my mum was watching Coronation Street, or I'm seeing an old episode of Waterloo Road with Denise in it, Denise Walsh, big fan, I just immediately want to jump back into the TV, not because I didn't like myself as, growing up, I didn't get why I was the way I was. I wasn't as verbal as I am now. I think music did that for me. A lot of my time was spent, hiding under classroom tables, being out of lesson for months on end, not getting the right support. you know, progression. So yeah, it was very difficult, but I think, you know, my mum, autism doesn't come with a book, a manual.
Sure.
Not all, every autistic is the same.
Gotcha.
Not individual. We're not all the same. So yeah, though I struggled, growing up still has, you know, my childhood still has an impact on me today and to how I kind of like perceive things in the world. Obviously, it's helped me sort of like understand where I want to go with my future.
Yeah. So getting all of that understanding, and then how did you meet with Anna, and what how did that come about?
So I met Anna in I think we started speaking at 2:15, and we had got together. And originally, it started through the communication and autism team. Obviously, I was under them for a very long time, even up till college. And I met a chap called Aaron York. He was also from Birmingham, singer-songwriter. We did an interview shoot for me doing. I was part of Salford City College, Birmingham. So I was just talking about, you know, the communication and autism team and support that was there. And he was like, "Oh, I know Anna Kennedy. You know, she's this amazing woman, and she's got the big blue tick on Twitter." That's how I first remember you. Like it was, and that's what I get. You know, when you say, "Oh, we're still a small charity," just the energy it gives is that big. Do you know what I mean? It is that big. So Aaron was like, "We're doing this album, and I think Anna would love you on it." So then came that, and then we met in Droitwich, I think.
Yeah, it was an album called Building Bridges.
Right.
So I had this dream that I wanted to do an album. So I was speaking to Aaron about it, who also appeared on Autism's Got Talent. He's an amazing gentleman. And he said, "Well, yeah, why not?" So he said, "I can write some of the songs or some of the performers." So we chose about 8, I think.
It was 8.
And then I said, "Right, I want to launch it somewhere big."
And it was big.
Yeah, it was. We did it in the
incredibly
centre of
big.
London.
Wow.
And what's the name of that place?
Hard Rock?
Yeah, Hard
What do you
Rock
mean,
Cafe.
what was that place?
Like, what was that place?
It was absolutely, it was the biggest night of my life. I still remember
Really?
that. Yeah, I still remember that like it was yesterday. Well, yeah, I think when I first met Anna, I was a very uninterested autistic individual.
Right.
Just wasn't quite sure, but it turns out that my values really are in line with Anna's and what the charity is about. And I think that's why I'm still here today. But the Hard Rock was massive.
It was, wasn't it? It was just like, because I remember going to see the manager, and he looked at me at first to say, "Oh, who is she?" You know, and I said, "Oh, we've got this fantastic," and so I showed him a few videos from Autism's Got Talent, and he said, "Okay, I'm going to take a risk. I'll do it." So we brought everybody on, and then all the performers were like well into looking at all the memorabilia, you know, like the guitars and like Madonna's
Jimi
costumes.
Hendrix's,
Yeah. So they all had photographs, and then we had quite a big audience. We had celebrities come as well, and then I had a few of my volunteers. I say, "Oh, mull around, see what people are saying, you know, about the music." And then I can't remember if it was you singing, Kieron, but somebody sang, and they were at the bar, and then as soon as they started singing, they just turned around and they went, "They're really good." I thought, yeah, of course they are. So, and then we did a group number, didn't we?
Yeah, with J-Rock, you know.
From Big Brothers.
The Big
Oh,
Brothers.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
The Baby Boy, we did a rendition of that. Yeah, that led on to other projects. I think that's like, looking at the thing with Anna Kennedy Online is we really see something and we're like, we want to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, Anna's like that, her head's always ticking.
So that gave you the inspiration to go out and do more in your own life, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so I've been studying music for as long as I can remember now. I've only just recently come out of education, and funny enough, I'm a teacher in training at the moment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my thing is aligns with Anna's, which is to offer inclusive and accessible music education. And again, I also say wow when I see what I'm kind of making, but I have to remember like what's behind that. And a big takeaway is from, you know, my conversations with Anna, you know, and just about, I think experience from a number of people is just so important that I think we're very quick to just make a decision in today's time without actually thinking it through. And there's so much like naivety to what's going on in the world around autism, and I like that Anna's just straight to the point with it.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's boosted his confidence from performing on
100%.
stage and
Yeah.
how he performs now, and
Sure.
you know, what he's created. So obviously, I'm interested in his project. I want to see, you know, what can we do to help, type of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's fantastic. And then, so in terms of your music, what type of music are you now producing and delivering so that you're getting your artistic soul out there, so to speak?
So funny enough, when I met Anna, I was literally just a singer. There was no producer. There was no, I could just about play piano, I think. I was just learning. Now I produce my own music,
Really?
compose my own music, play the piano. I have a broad repertoire.
You send me videos, don't you? You just say, "What do
Yeah.
you think of this? What do you think of this?"
Just-
And I love it when he does upbeat, because sometimes
Yeah.
he does like really melancholy.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
play something upbeat.
I think, yeah, and I got that. You know, the music, it's a craft for me, and it was like, I don't know, I was fixated on it. It was the only thing that, you know, I was verbal about when I was
Sure.
younger. It was the music. I could sing before I could talk. Do you know what I mean? You know,
Right.
I could belt before I could ride a bike, and then I could do
Cool.
the harmonies before swimming or something. And it's that. And when I'm meeting Anna, seeing all of the different individuals, it was like, I could imagine myself doing this forever.
But you said, which is something I took on board, was you sat down and watched the last show we did, and you said you really took on board every single performer and where they were at.
And I think that's the beautiful thing about Anna Kennedy Online. You know, I did Autism's Got Talent almost 10 years ago, with a couple of acts that also done the show at the same time. And it's like we've all been on this amazing journey, and we've watched each other grow and develop.
Sure.
You know, once an uninterested boy that just sang to a karaoke backing track, to someone who's now producing his own music and composing and trying to create opportunities for other people to do the same, you know.
And now you want to teach people.
Yeah, music
well.
is just, it's a very abstract terminology, and
Sure.
you know, it doesn't work for people with, you know, different ways of learning.
Sure.
And that's really important to me. I had to use my own methods and find my own ways of coping in those environments. And I think with somebody who's autistic and they have a determination and a passion, they don't stop until they see it through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What strikes me is that something like Autism's Got Talent has really given you the
100%. I will remember, I think it was 2017, and I remember performing, I think I did Hands of Love. It's a song that was wrote by Linda Perry for Miley Cyrus, or one of the films that they did. And there was just a bit before I was, you know, doing, like, holding out a note. And I swear, this gives me tingles. Like, sometimes I'll secretly watch it. You do as an artist, you want to watch, you want to see where you've developed. And I won't ever forget everyone just standing up and cheering and screaming before I'd even, like, just got to that end bit. Like, it was just like soaring out. And that moment will stay with me for forever. And it's moments like that I really like.
I always ask the performers, is it okay for us? Do you want applause? And we've only ever had 2 people in all the years that we've done it. They don't want applause.
Sure.
You know, they wanted this. But everybody is just, no, we want the applause. And I always say this, and you've probably seen me say it in other videos, what I love the best is when they finish, they get the standing ovation, and then they stand up straight.
Yeah.
And their chests
And you
puff
put that
out.
And
they
that's
walk
literally what it is. That is how it feels.
It's like,
it feels
I've
like
done it.
Superman, who's just been Clark Kent for a day.
Yeah.
He's pulling off his top so he can show his symbol. I say it's the symbol of hope.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Or you get kids skipping up.
Yeah, no, it's the most empowering thing. That's what I mean. There's no other charity or autism charity that is promoting and, you know, the inclusion, the acceptance, championing autism the way that Anna Kennedy Online does. And that's what keeps me inspired.
Sure. And so we've talked a little bit just already about Autism's Got Talent, but Anna, so tell me a bit more about this joyful part of your work of Autism's Got Talent. How did it come to be? What happened one day and you thought, this is what I need to do. I need to give people a platform to perform?
Well, actually, it started off with a negative, if you can call it that. It was about parents and adults writing to me about them being bullied in school.
Right.
Online, quite a lot of online bullying was happening during COVID times as well. I was getting so many messages from adults and parents within schools, in the workplace, in the community. So what had happened was then they started sending me in videos. So first of all, I did the anti-bullying campaign. I created it and I called it, what can I call it? I thought, give us a break. Give us a break. Stop bullying us type of thing.
Okay.
So that's what we did. So I spoke to Esther Ranson and the NSPCC. Esther, as I say, I met her when we first set up the school. She did a program called That's Esther, and she followed my journey. Then we became friends. And then she introduced me to NSPCC, and then the anti-bullying lines, they wanted to get on board. So we did a survey as well. What do you do within your school to stop bullying? So asking various different questions. So we were talking about school clubs, lunchtime school clubs, where to keep it a little bit more structured for a lot of children because they find it difficult. I used to go into schools and you didn't even have to tell me where a lot of the autistic children were. They were either walking around the edge of the playground or they were like hiding somewhere. And it was just like, what can we do to improve their day? Because obviously sometimes, and I know from my own son, lunchtimes was the most difficult time for him. And a lot of the time he didn't want to go to school because he knew what was going to happen at lunchtime. So they started doing these clubs. So it was like music clubs, even like someone did the paper plane flying club, whatever club it was, makeup for girls, putting nail varnish on or whatever it was. So it'd have a little bit more structured time. There was one young man, he used to like going in the library and just sorting the books out in his lunchtime. So that's what he was happy doing. So that's how it started, as in give us a break. But then once we put it out onto the website of the NSPCC and various other websites, then I started getting videos in of children and adults that were singing, dancing, poetry, painting,
so
musicians.
Almost the creativity came to you.
Yeah. They were sending me the videos and saying, look what's happened because of the bullying. And what was happening is they needed to feel like they were doing something. So they were teaching themselves. For example, there was this lady who was 42. She was taught herself how to play the electric guitar because she was getting bullied, and she said she needed to do something positive to take her mind off it. So when I got all these videos, I was thinking, what am I going to do with these videos? These are just like amazing. They were like blowing my mind. And at that time I was invited to Woman of the Year. And I saw Debbie Moore from Pineapple Dance Studios there. And I always wanted to do a dance DVD to teach children. And these ideas sort of come to me at the time. It's not like a lot of the time I plan things. It's just like it happens like that. So I just went across the room and Lulu was sat on the table with her. So I just said, hi, my name's Anna Kennedy. I've got this idea and blah, 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 like I do. And then she just said, make an appointment. She said, come and see me. So I went to an appointment and I went upstairs into her office, which was amazing. She's got like Tina Turner dress and she has got a picture of herself with the Beatles and all. I was just like, oh. Awesome. So she said, I've got to introduce you to this lovely lady called Maggie Patterson. She runs my school. And basically now Maggie's got her own school, PPAS, but they've supported us since then. So all those years we've become really good friends, Maggie and I, and they now support us with Autism's Got Talent. Fiona is our backstage manager and they volunteer for like the last 15 years. So we're hoping to do a special show. So that's when it was Give Us a Break. And we still do Give Us a Break. We still do anti-bullying messages. I write to my ambassadors and say, tell me your story. What did you do? We have posters. We've had Lauren, who's created posters for us to do with Give Us a Break.
We've got a new part on the website.
Yeah. T-shirts, Give Us a Break. Whatever we can think of.
Anything to
Yeah. So that's how it started, from an anti-bullying campaign to something really positive. Like
Suddenly,
Autism's
so
Got
all this
Talent.
creativity just turned up at your doorstep.
Yeah.
And you were like, I've got to do something with this.
Yeah. So then when I went to see a show, which was created by Maggie. So I was at the Mermaid Theatre and I was looking around the theatre and I was thinking, I wonder if I could do a show for Autism's Got Talent. So I said to Maggie, I've got an idea. So she said, what is it? So I said, would you like to support me with it? So she said, yes, come on, let's do it. So then people were saying, oh, it's not going to work. How are you going to get 20 performers performing from all over the country, coming together in 2 days, putting on a show? And I always remember that I wanted them all on the stage at the end. And they said, no, that won't work. You won't get them all on the stage at the end. I thought, well, if you don't try, you never know. So what happened was that's the show that sticks within me the most, because it was in 2012. We had Peter Dixon doing the voice saying, this is Autism's Got Talent. You go, sit back, relax and welcome and all this sort of thing. So, and it was just amazing. People talked about it for like weeks and weeks saying, hey, when are you going to do it again? And then when everyone came on the stage, we couldn't get them off. Like we almost had to
Really?
get a hook and like say, come on, close the curtains.
Enough
They were
now.
like coming round the curtain and dancing. It was so good. So hence why it's been going for 14 years.
And
And
so
we get
that-
people like from Ireland now.
Yeah.
They've done their own Autism's Got Talent. Got someone coming from Bulgaria. I'm going to meet them in November. They want to do Autism's Got Talent. I've been asked to do it in America. I've been asked, but it's just like they don't realise we can't just come over there. It's going to cost money,
Sure.
to pay for our travel and all the rest of it. I can give you an idea of how you can do it.
Yeah.
But it's not
And
going to be as
obviously you
good
can
as it helps.
you can give people access to your shows and
Yeah.
see, so
Yeah.
they can see what you do, how you do it,
Yeah.
and what you try to achieve with
Yeah.
it. But I think one of the things that really struck me was some of the stories from the people who were at Autism's Got Talent this year. They were really so passionate about their art, so passionate about their journey, and so passionate about what they did. So one guy that stood out for me was a guy called Angus Baskerville. He's now a full-time magician now, isn't
Yeah,
he?
and he's one of my ambassadors.
And if you don't mind, I'd like to show you a short clip.
Yeah.
And then obviously we'll show you that short clip and then get your reaction if that's okay.
Yeah. I remember Angus's first performance. He was so nervous. But he's just completely different now, isn't he?
He has
just-
come a long way.
He's amazing. Anyway, carry on.
So let's show you the clip.
My name is Angus Baskerville and this is my 4th time performing here on the show Autism's Got Talent. I'm autistic ADHD myself and I've been a regular supporter of Anna Kennedy online since I first met her in 2016, which was my first ever time performing here on the show. And like all people, I'm on a mission to prove to the world that you can achieve anything if you set your mind to it, and also on a mission to give those autistic individuals the freedom we deserve. When you find your passion and embrace it, opportunities are absolutely endless, and I think that's what Autism's Got Talent is all about. I'm doing a magic act on stage because I'm a professional magician. I've been studying and performing magic for 11 years now, and it's been my full-time job for just over 3 years, where I do weddings, corporate events, private parties, functions, promotions, and since I went full-time, I've been doing lots of big stage performances around the world as well. Doing my own tour, performing at the Edinburgh Fringe event and Fringe Festival. And tonight I'm doing a 5-minute act on stage with magic. Obviously you deal with things like rejection, you deal with obviously setbacks and the things like that, and obviously the stress of performing on stage, the stress of obviously things going wrong on stage, and when it happens obviously it can knock you for 6. But what it also teaches you is that when life knocks you down, you've got to choose whether or not to get back up. And there have been times when I've messed up on stage, there have been times when obviously I've had issues within bookings, but it's how you work around it, that's the thing. And I know that, and from this, magic very much taught me that it's really good for improving resilience, patience, concentration, focus, social skills, all stuff that magic really helped me with. Well, what I hope people, obviously I want them to be really wowed, and I want them to be mind blown, because that's the main role of obviously being a magician on stage, but also I want people to know that, magic really helps me. And also you should just never give up. Anything is possible. Performing magic very much improved my social skills, where it allowed me to socialise for the very first time, which then of course allowed me to make friends for the first time. It really improved my concentration focus, because magic does require a lot of concentration and focus when watching it, but even more when learning it. And the ability to face your fears as well and not let your fears get the better of you, improve your confidence, because going up and approaching people, talking to people, dealing with big crowds, loud noise is something that I was originally very, very, very sensitive to. But from performing magic, I was able to shut off more of that and gradually became a lot less sensitive to it. So it really improved my sensory system, gave me a full-time career opportunity, and resilience and self-esteem in general. If I was to describe autism in one thing, I would say it's just a different wiring of the brain. And you can look at it as a gift, and it can very much be a gift, no question about it. Or you can look at the downside of it. But any negatives around autism can very much be turned around. It's always about looking at the glass half full rather than half empty. I hope to perform on cruise ships. I hope to do a lot of work for autism awareness, and overall just be happy. As I mix this cube up, would you please say stop whenever you like? Stop right here. Perfect. Now if I was to solve the cube from here, you might notice it only takes a little shake. And if you believe, your beliefs become reality.
So what goes through your mind when you see success stories like Angus and people whose confidence and careers have grown pretty much from Autism's Got Talent and his first involvement with it?
I'm very proud of Angus because I remember his very first performance. The anxiety levels were so high. He was practicing before he went on the stage. And now he's just turned 360. He goes into schools, speaking in schools. He's written a book. He's so proud of his book. He's given me a copy of his book. And he's just amazing. He's like, people now, when they're watching, I remember his tricks when he first started. You know, they were great, but now they're just like, people are just like, how did he do that? How did he do that? And it was just like, people are just gasping, and he's now part of the magic circle. It's just like, he wants to do, I know, a show in Las Vegas, I think he said. So I bet he does get there eventually.
Well, the thing is, this is where it's leading people, isn't it? Because he's now getting full-time jobs off it.
He set up his own business. I bet he never even thought about that when he first started doing Autism's Got Talent. It was just getting through the performance on the stage in front of 600 people. So, yeah, and now he comes to all our events. He mingles with the guests. He shows his tricks to our VIPs. He's just part of our family now. So, and he loves what we do.
Yeah, and I was really just struck by his honesty in the clip we've just seen, because he was talking so much about how magic and the focus of doing magic and creating what he creates actually gave him the confidence to be out there in the world.
He's so professional now.
Yeah.
Like, really professional. Like, you could just see him in a professional with any magician. He could give them a run for their money.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
100%.
So we also met a young lad called Joshua Fowler. And Joshua was so straight-talking and powerful in his performance that made a huge impact. What's your reaction to his message?
My name is Joshua, and today I'm going to be performing a song from Back to the Future the musical called It's Only a Matter of Time. I love performing so much because I feel that performing isn't just going on a stage, performing a set routine, a set song, whatever you've been told to do. The whole world's a stage. It's a sort of concept that you'll find in everyday life. It's not something that will just leave you. It's something that will stay with you for your whole life. I am extremely excited for my performance, as it'll really show to many individuals that autism isn't a weakness, it's a strength and something that you should be proud of, rather than you looking down on all of the negatives that you might think, because those can be turned around, those can be changed, and I feel that it's really special that autistic people should get a chance. Sometimes there are some social and emotional difficulties, but those can all be turned around with just a little bit of support, basic therapy, and I feel that once people actually get to properly understand how their brain works, how their brain's wired differently, it can really help, and it can help with you not letting autism get the better of you. I feel that performing has really helped with social skills and talking to other people. So if I were to talk to one of my friends, it would be a lot easier with some practice of basic performing skills and motor skills, emotional skills. It helps empathize, sympathize, and just have a better understanding of what it is to be neurodivergent but also neurotypical. You should never give up. Don't let anything get the better of you. You're amazing. You can do anything you can put your mind to.
Well, first of all, when he performed his technical rehearsal, he was quite quiet. And I was thinking, I'm sure on his video he was a lot louder than that. And then when he performed on stage, he was like a little powerhouse. And you could see he was so confident. I've just received a message from his mum actually now saying I didn't get a chance to thank you because they had to rush off, because he's got rehearsals now for, I think, what was the show? Can't remember now if it was Matilda or one of those type of shows. Sure. So he's just like, I can see he's going to go places, that young lad. He could see he really enjoyed performing on stage in front of everyone. He got a standing ovation as well. You could see his face just light up. So no, it's just, I was a bit worried, let's just say, when he did his technical. I thought he's really quiet. I thought
Yeah.
it was louder than that. But then he just completely, and that's what happens with Autumn's Got Talent. When they do the technical rehearsal, sometimes they're
Sure.
great, but then when they're on stage for the actual performance, they seem to step it up like 200%. And
Really?
they're just like, wow, where did that come from? I always remember a girl as well who had panic attack, quite a few panic attacks. She was the first time that we had someone that had panic attacks on the stage when she was doing technical.
Yeah.
And then when she sang on stage, I just thought, this is a completely different person. She absolutely loved it. And she applied again for the following year. She wanted to do it again.
Fantastic.
And many of them do that, don't they, Kieron?
It makes you like I'm Kieron, but my artist name is Mr. Kieron Lee,
Yeah.
and I separate the person that I'm not
Yeah.
when I'm on stage. It's like somebody else just completely takes over, and everything else is just pushed to the back.
Sure.
And I described it perfectly.
Yeah, I think when I started dancing, I was very quiet, and my mum used to take me tap dancing and what have you. So I went into competitions,
Yeah.
and people who knew me, I was just like this really little quiet person. Then when I used to dance on stage, they'd look at me and think, that doesn't look like the same person, because I just absolutely loved my dance. It just made me feel completely different. I had quite a strict upbringing with my dad.
Right.
He's Italian, so it was all very, very, very strict. But then when I was dancing, I just felt I was free. And I think that's what possibly our autistic performers feel like when they dance. They can just be them,
Yeah.
and they're doing something they enjoy.
Does that translate into your world with music? Do
100%.
you get that sense of freedom?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like my everything.
Sure.
There is no me without music.
I wish
Yeah.
you could bottle it, that
Yeah,
feeling that you get
yeah.
when you do it. I wish you could just bottle it.
It's really hard. It literally is a superpower.
Gotcha.
I mean, I've gone up now. I've just got my first class degree in BA Hons in music, and it was
Really?
everything music. So music law, music production, performance.
You were quite
everything.
stressed, weren't you?
Yeah, I've never worked so hard in my life, and based on Anna's experiences and what she shared, running Anna Kennedy Online,
Yeah.
it's really just she kind of shaped the person that I am now, 100%.
And
And does
and
that
then
for
finding that
everyone.
passion, connecting with that music,
One-
connecting with the performances, connecting with other people,
Yeah.
has suddenly given you a
You sort of
broader-
see what you were doing in a completely different light to how you were doing it before,
Gotcha.
because something, just like Anna says, something resonates in that moment, and you realize the impact that you can have on a number of people. I don't think that I'd ever be where I am now when I was younger, and it's crazy to think that people with the stigma and stick to those labels of that never be capable. It's just so not the case at all. Everyone's different.
And you've got to find what they're good at. And obviously, children like my son Angelo is quite profoundly affected with autism, and he's got minimal verbal skills. You just got to find something that he's good at and feels comfortable at. And we try and show, when we do Autumn's Got Talent as well, the varying degrees on the spectrum. So it's to give everybody an opportunity.
Yeah, but then giving people an opportunity to come to life in a sense, and bring themselves to life, and bring life to their performances is what you're telling me is happening. And that's so heartening, because I think from so many things that I've seen that are negative in this world, where there are so many different things that are happening now that can bring us all down, but there are so many things that we can do together that can bring us all up.
Nobody is on their own with this, and I think that's what AKO reminds people of, is that you're not walking this story alone. And there are people that get it. No story's the same, and it's just about finding that thing, that connection. I think that's what's most important.
And even on social media, I post every day, and I do my own post because I feel it has to be from me, and I get involved in everything because I feel I have. It's like it's about my name, but I want to be involved in everything. I'm not one of these people that sit up here and I don't want to be. I always want to get involved in everything. So I just, I'm really proud of what we've achieved, and I think we can achieve a lot more, but in the right way.
Sure. So that brings us to the end of part 1 of our conversation with Anna Kennedy OBE and Mr. Kieron Lee on the story of Anna Kennedy Online and the amazing things the charity does. We've only just scratched the surface, so make sure you don't miss part 2, where we will dive deeper into the Stop and Search campaign, Autism Hero Awards, and the impact of creative outlets on autistic people.